All right, good afternoon, everyone. Crypto, Wiki, TJ, thanks for coming back this afternoon. I see we didn't get a run on those lows I thought we might get during lunch, but it definitely made new highs. So let's see what that means for our afternoon. All right, 100-point move here. 694 to 793. Thanks, TJ. All right, let's take a peek over at the other charts just so we know where we are in comparison to the others. We can see the Dow still never made that push that we saw from S&P and Nasdaq this morning. Right, so that high from yesterday still stands. And also, as we see the dollar looks like it's starting to put together some type of bullish setup, but we'll see. Hourly, this could turn into a breaker. We can get a push above 103, 156 and a close there. Then yes, then we definitely have a breaker here on the dollar, which at that time we would then want to see higher prices come from the dollar, which would mean the opposite for the others. So let's just keep that in mind as we look at setups this morning. There's nothing else as far as news is concerned today, which is good. Bounce back over to NQ. Now that we have our bearings a bit, but we do need to pay attention and make sure that the dollar's not going to run up if we're looking for longs on NQ. So I don't know what you guys' bias is for the afternoon. I mean, I'm always wary of jumping on a trend that's already running, especially one that's created new highs, and I don't see any targets, or I don't know exactly how to target price going as it continues up. Guess we could look at this maybe as a half deviation there at 17,823. If we take the full measured move from this morning, just before or something just after 10 o'clock until I guess it was about 10:45 ish. We swept these lows here, turning bearish. So we'll just see how far that wants to go. We have equal lows here. Let's see how price reacts once this happens. Okay, move up to the 5-minute, and there we go. Standard deviation. Yep. Okay. Right. On the 1-minute, this is what I want to see then. We're not going to choose a top and it's going to go long. We want to see this breaker fail. Breaker, fair value gap inside. We want to see it fail. Yep. Okay. Yep. We're past the macro time. So I'll move back up to the 5 minutes. So you said a 5 minute busy. Yep. Here we go. And the lunch low looks to split that in half. Always a good level. It'll be sweet if we get a sweep here and then an energetic move back up for then some sort of fair value gap entry. Mm-hmm. Well, depends on how you see it. I would say the 5 minute breaker could be the same space that we already have reserved for the 1 minute breaker. You can just maybe refine it a bit. Just include the bodies. But I guess you could also maybe include the entire area if you want to make it a larger breaker. You could do that. And then you also have this one, I guess. That's probably the one you were talking about. So that's my bad. I missed that one. Okay, so 50% is down at 716. For the full leg, if we just take this leg here. Oops, what did I just do? Okay. All right. So you have your setup like this. Crypto, I thought you was in the Great Lakes. All right, looks like somehow we found a way to rebound and get rejected back into this fair value gap. And testing out this breaker here. Mm. Yep, let's see what happens at 1:30. We got about another 10 minutes. Let's see if we get somewhere close to a pivot point. When we get just before that, I'll drop down to the 1 minute so we can see price action. Excuse me, a little closer. Mm-hmm. Is Hmm. Look at how this aligns with the one we had earlier from the 1 minute. So it's the same position we took our last entry from. Mm-hmm. Is that a 1 tick fair value gap here? Mm. Just below 50 is that 1 tick fair value gap. Just below 50% of the wick. All right. Let me just click over for a second. Oh man, I didn't realize I'm not even connected to my broker. Let me figure that out in a second. All right. But anyways, let me just click over so we can take a look at what's going on with everyone else. Look at the dollar sweeping those highs. Which could signal more buying pressure into some of these zones above. We also see the Dow has just completely melted down. We see the same thing in the S&P. Nasdaq look like it's rebounding, recovering a little bit. We are getting close to half past the hour. But definitely lots of bullish momentum the last few minutes or the last 15 minutes or so. And the dollar is running. So let's just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see if this breaker holds. Now we have a little wick poked outside of it. Okay. All right, I'll give it 4 minutes, and then when the candle closes, then we'll see where it is. Let me see. Crypto, I see what you're saying about efficient delivery of price, right? So even here, we have efficient delivery. But sell side, we had buy side, sold back down to this level. So at least both areas were able to buy and sell. Then we had a consolidation, and then we had a movement away from the zone. So this area here had buy, sell, and then finally the buyers took it out of the zone. So for it to come back in, you're right. I didn't see a need for it to retrace back down here. I would have thought it would have wanted to expand a little more and then retrace into this area because there's nothing there. And so then you balance price up in this zone. But for whatever reason, that's not what happened. All right, I'm going to drop this breaker because I don't think it's going to hold. This breaker comes with a fair value gap. So let's see if that's actually the rejection. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was odd to have a bearish breaker with a bullish fair value gap. It just seemed weird for those to be butted up against each other. Oh, Svanil. Hello, how's it going? Um, well, unfortunately, I have yet to discover a strategy that works every time. I don't know one. No. There's nothing special today. I should be using the higher time frame more often, and the 1 minute should be used only when a setup is coming and it's time to really get down to looking for an entry. It's just a lot of noise when you're on the lower time frame, so I should be on the 5 minute or 15 minute normally. So that's all. But yeah, I don't know one that works every time. But I do like the unicorn model, like I used this morning. That's that one seems to, because it's also the ICT's 2022 mentorship model. That seems to work relatively every time. It's I would say probably 75-80%. I don't have those numbers official, so that's just a guess. But I would say 75-80%, and that's about as good as any of my strategies have gotten. Right, but this right here, what we see here is essentially the same thing. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to work because you got to remember this. Not only is this lunchtime high, this is all-time high. Right, so today is just new territory. I'm not sure where we're headed. Nobody knows where we're headed. We're just, you know, watching price, letting price give us some indication as to what's next, and then we're gonna see where we want to take an entry. But this would be what they would consider a liquidity sweep when it took out this high. Then you had an energetic move the opposite direction, creating a fair value gap. So you have the fair value gap, you have a breaker, which we call the unicorn. You get a retracement back here, and then you take it short. That's the most efficient strategy that I've used, and that I've back tested enough to be able to speak about. And yeah, that's all I got. But 100%, if you find it, please let me know. Okay. I like the market maker model. I'm just not good enough at it yet. I think I see it setting up, and then it fakes me out sometimes. But you say model 6 and 7? Okay. Anybody else pick up tips from ICT's live stream this morning? I had my own live stream, so I wasn't on his, but if anyone else was on his and he dropped some knowledge, please share with the rest of us. Yeah, so the fair value gap, what you want to look for when you have this set up, you want to go between the 5 minute and the 1 minute. Go to all 5 of those time frames and look for the best setup. Look for the one that has the smallest fair value gap, or because ultimately what you're trying to do is to minimize your stop loss. But your target should be the same. It's always going to be either a fair value gap on the opposite side. It's going to be equal lows or equal highs, depending on which setup you're taking. So it's always going to be those kind of things as your targets. Oh, okay. Oh, you have the MMX. Is that the course from, yes, what is it? MMXM Trader, I guess. Okay, he's on demo and took losses. Okay. Yeah, so he took losses on demo, and I was sitting on my hands, and Crypto Queen was winning. Oh, okay. I completely missed it. It's now past 1:30. So let me get down to the 1 minute just in case we see something that would turn price around. Ooh, 1:30 was here. Okay. Okay. So we can see price swept equal highs. Wonder why it never traded back to the breaker. If we go lower, that's going to be disappointing if it doesn't trade back to the breaker. Okay, 70% retracement, 71. Yep, 71%. A 1 or 2 ticks. Oh, I'm speaking of this breaker here at the top. So from the 1 minute, the 1236 candle. Okay, so we have this low that could, if price continues pushing lower, we have this swing low from 118. And then we have equal lows here from 1146 and 47. That's at 17,706. And then ultimately we have this set of equal lows down at 702. Further retracement, now we're down to 83.5 to the tick, 83.5%. Let's see if it goes further. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Meltdown. Well, crypto, I think you're doing just fine. All right. All of those equal lows are together, been taken out. Let's go ahead and drop this. And we can move back up to the 5-minute now. $8.30 open is I guess the next target of sorts. Yeah, no. Yeah, if we return all the way back down, I think we still have fireworks tomorrow. Um, and we've sufficiently taken those highs. So it wasn't just a poke above with one or two ticks and then a retracement. We have the highest value I had marked up was 17,703 quarters. We've we've run nearly 100 points above that. You've done for real this time. Oh, welcome to the mini game. Graduated from the micros into the minis. Yeah, protect that. 2635 is an amazing day. So yeah, hold on to that for sure. All right, where's my guy who asked for the 100% strategy? Swanil, there you have it. Unicorn may not be 100%, but you can win majority of the time. And if you manage your risk properly and you scale out at different price points, you have quite a day. Crypto Queen is a great example of that. So if you want to learn the unicorn setup, like they mentioned, check out Ash Trades. He goes over that quite a bit, and he has a PDF, the supplemental learning material. But also, you can check out ICT if you're looking for the unicorn setup. Just go into YouTube, type in the unicorn setup, and you'll get plenty of videos. But I recommend ICT or one of his students, Ash Trades. Okay, so you use this here, but yeah, that's another reason why when prices just consolidate and not doing anything, it's almost worth it to not trade at all that day. Because while you may have a win, it's going to be high resistance. So you're going to be sweating your butt off or nervous about the trade the whole time. And all you have to do is just be patient, save your equity, and come back on a day like today. Anyone in a short, pay attention to 688 when it gets to the 830 open. Right. All right. These are levels that still have not been hit. Yep. Yeah, you probably can just keep moving it. So once you get to 2R, move your stop to 1R. You get to 3R, move your stop to 2R. Maybe you can keep doing it like that on your for your runners, especially if there is a decent amount of space in between 1 and 2R, between the different Rs. 688. Yep, 688. That's the 830 open. Yeah, I want to see how price reacts when it gets here. But a sliver of a fair value gap, one tick again. Jeez. Taking the setup. I should have taken it, but I didn't. Let's go to the 5 minutes. It seems like a lot of the members in the group are on the 5 minute and looking for setups. All right, so we got an order block with a fair value gap. Whatever he said we had an inverted fair value gap too, which is this one. So this entry here may just run us to here. So anyone in a long here, if you watch my screen and you thought that was a good setup and you took it, good for you. Just keep in mind that this area has a lot of bearish activity going on, or things that could return price bearish. So just be nimble. Maybe set a TP somewhere in here, or take some of your trade off, or adjust your stop loss, whatever works for you. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Crypto, I missed the unicorn here. Should have took it. See, it probably was just a small setup, so probably wouldn't have delivered too much, but it still could have given me a 1 to 2, even though that was only like 12 points. Uh, all right. Well, at least it was something. All right, 2 o'clock now. Anyone who's a silver bullet trader, you can start looking for your setup now. Okay, let's check on the dollar, see where it is. All right, so the dollar did close above that high on the hourly chart. So I'm expecting the dollar to continue to move higher over the next hour. Big bro, I only took one trade today. You do sometimes I'll set up something that you'll see someone else in the chat talking about. So I'll put up the long or the short tool just to analyze their trade. But I've only taken one trade today so far. It was during the morning session at, I don't know, just before lunch, I believe, or no, around 10:50, 11 o'clock, somewhere in that area was the setup I took earlier. This idea here is one I should have taken, but I didn't. Yep. Ray, are you still looking for this area up here around 7:30 or 7:29, 7:35, somewhere in here? Um, so I'll show you. Oops. Let's get back to the 5 minute. So yes, I marked the New York low, the London low, and the Asia low. And I marked those because those are session lows that have not been traded back into. So I'll put this indicator back up. So the New York high was set here, and then it traded through. So we've already traded to the New York high today. This is the London high. We traded through the London high, so that's not an issue. The New York low was put in here, and price took off. Even the retrace here came within, right, within a couple ticks, but it didn't break through. So that low is still available. This low was put in here, never traded back through, so it's available. This high was put in over here. This is the Asia high. It consolidated afterwards. London broke through it. And here's the Asia low put in here, and we never traded back down. So I marked those three just because those three are still open and available. So if we start seeing lower prices, then start having targets. So it's the New York, London, and Asia. All three lows have not been traded to since they were made. Robert, unfortunately, this indicator is a paid indicator, so you won't be able to get this one. But there is another indicator that some of the subscribers here are using. It's called DIY Custom Strat Builder, and they say it can do like pretty much anything. Just set the custom options to what you want, and it'll deliver for you. So let me just put that in the chat for you. Oops. This should be a free indicator you can use inside of TradingView. Oh, what's up? There you go. Okay. Yeah, and that's perfect when you can see potentially it's put in a high of the day, and then you start measuring and you can see those lows at strategic points on the price scale. So we just might see that. You're right. 1.5 or 2 standard deviations. All right, I can see that breaker there didn't deliver anything. It gave 10, 12 points, which was a 2R, but not a lot of points. So that would have been one I would have needed to leverage up on contracts. Let's move up to the 15, just so it's a little easier to see. Right, 78% retracement so far. And we now see there's a rejection at the 8:30 with the fair value gap. So we're going to give it another 3.5 minutes to close up this 15-minute candle and see where it is. Did I just get ICT? No, but for the most part, most of my education came from ICT. So it's been about a 2-year process of following him from the start of his 2022 mentorship until third quarter of last year is when I stopped watching his weekly videos. I still catch them from time to time, but I'm not interested in new strategies or anything. I feel like I've learned about as much as I can get from him. The rest I got to do on my own. But I've watched some other guys. Yes, I have. But they are also ICT students. So it's just getting the same lecture, from a different person with a different perspective. So sometimes some of the nuances that you didn't pick up on, someone else can help you. Similar to what you get from here, being in this room and picking up from other traders. I mean, we all learn from some mentor of some kind. But Do I know a completely different style of trading? No. Yeah, I haven't seen Brad today. I haven't heard from him. Mhm. Another 20 seconds on this candle. Then we'll see if this breaker actually is officially a breaker on the 15-minute. Yep, you're right. It is definitely a dream, and you can get burned chasing those prices when most of the time that happens to me when I'm chasing a morning session high, and it turns out to be the high of the day. Price gets within 10% of it, like it gets really close, and then it turns around and then it never reaches that level. And so if you were in a position and you were holding out for it to break, then you end up having to take a small partial or even break even. Watch price. No, no loot. I've never used tick charts to watch price. Dreams do come true, just not often. Oh, we've been up 4R. Wow. Crypto, you're good. You have made enough. But I hope one takeaway that you have from all of this last few days is that the things that you have gathered, what you know so far, is enough. Right now, it's just more repetition, more price action to watch, and just continue practicing. But you know enough to be successful. Oh, yes, yes. One day I will. Absolutely. I'll do the back test journal. I'll do it after our session. Mm, okay, yep. So this is your 4 hour fair value gap starts here at the New York low, 37 and a half. And then the next fair value gap is the London low, 17 and a quarter. No, sir. Cool, calm, and collected. I have not traded with options ever before. Usually in a day, I do one or two trades. That's it. Try not to overtrade. I try not to take too much. Right? And I try to stick to my rules. So the strategy I'm using now mostly is the unicorn setup, and I use that inside of macros. So it's a very specific time period, and if it doesn't happen there, then I sit on my hands. Even if I see a setup in between those time periods, I won't take them. And so that's just me following my rules, and maybe I'll loosen those up as I back test more and get more confidence in other types of strategies. But I just haven't had the same level of success that I've had with the unicorn setup in the macro times. So for now, I'm sticking to just that one type of setup. Okay, 215 to 245 is a macro. That's interesting. But I mean, hey, I'm not going to argue with it. It actually could be there. It's just not one I've used before. But crypto, remember I told you about 230 is a lot of times that's that pivot point. Yeah, right. It is sure melting right into my little light bulb here. Let's get rid of that idea because that idea is almost over. Because 50% of that wick didn't survive. All right, TJ. Good job. All right, let's go to a lower time frame since we have people actively in trades looking for targets to be met. Getting really close to this New York low at 638. Oh, I forgot I can get rid of this. All right, Ray, there you go. All right, since we just got that in, let me once again show everybody where all the other price points are for the other indices. As you can see, everyone's running together. Big bearish flag, bearish candles back to back for all three indices. And then look at the dollar. Look at how they move together. Ray, what was your entry on this this short that you had? Where was it, and what was the strategy you used? Okay, so this fair value gap, I guess. Got it. Okay. All right, here you go. So that trade took you about an hour to gather up 120 points, 130 points. Wow. That's a trade for the week. It all depends. It can continue lower or it can turn around and we just end up ranging. I wouldn't expect it to go and run for these highs. But from this morning session, it was pretty clear this was going to be an area to return to. They're giving us 4 points on the same line, all from the opening bell until just after 10 o'clock. I mean, we do still have these liquidity points that have not been touched and have not been traded to. So it would not surprise me if we continue lower and at least touch the London. Then we have the midnight space here, and we need to see if price can get below that and close below. And then if it does, then you'd be looking at the Asia low as a target. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to get there, Ray, to where I can hold a trade for an hour and still feel confident that my idea is going to work out. Not to mention hold a trade for over 100 points. That's, if I remember correctly, did I not just say that today that I would like to be able to hold a trade and catch it up here and then hold it until it gets to these equal lows? Thanks for showing us how it's done. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop that and drop this as well. Now we don't need this inversion since we have a bearish fair value gap right there. All right, that should make things a little cleaner. Oh man. Okay, I see. Mm, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Target's never on the 1 minute. I'll keep that in mind. $17,700. Okay, somewhere in this area. You closed it here. Okay. All right. Yeah, you missed the last leg. Hopefully you got enough though. That's that's for William. All right. I am that Mohican. Protect yourself. Just make sure that price action is showing that it's willing to go long. Let's go to a smaller time frame to see. Nope. GA, the opposite. You look at the higher time frame for direction and the 1 minute or some smaller time frame for the actual entry. higher time frame inefficiencies or after higher time frame liquidity grab. All right, so now we see a liquidity grab on the 15-minute. That was that those triple lows that we saw targeted and taken out in the last 10 minutes or so. Right. Mhm. See where we are on the 1 hour. All right, we see higher lows being put in. SMT on the 2-minute. Okay. Yeah, Fauci, I think tomorrow we will, just because there's so much news being announced in the morning. So I'm expecting lots of movement tomorrow. Yep, lots of news being announced at 8:30, and then one final announcement at 10. Got to turn my video back on a long time ago. 6:32. Let's see. No, it doesn't cost anything extra. You just, when you sign up, you have to just let it know you want to use TradingView as a platform. And so it allows your username to be used on a broker called Tradovate, which is through TradingView. And so you just log into Tradovate like you were trading, like you had an account with Tradovate, and you use TradingView. So when you see me execute a trade, yes, this is TradingView that I'm using. And you just have to, whenever you sign up, just let them know that's what you want to use. Yeah, that's true. Tell them you're not a professional, because if you are a professional, the data feed that you have to pay for is outrageous. Yeah, so you pay $4 now just so you can get live data, but if you have an account with one of the prop firms, then you don't have to pay that anymore. Mm. All right, so mm-mm. See, is Ninja Trader on here somewhere? I don't see it. Hmm. Should have held it. I took a small long in this area on one of my other screens because my account was logged in over there. And I just took it for like 15 points and then got out over in this area. $660 right here. Okay, that's when I got out a little higher than that, 665 or so, but okay, awesome. Oh, crypto, are you on demo now or are you still live? I thought you were done for the day. Hmm. Okay, demo, got it. All right. And to be honest, I took that trade only because of what I was listening to you as well as um, Who am I thinking about? Oh, you and Ray. Yeah, you and Ray were talking about, taking a higher time frame, and once there's a sweep of liquidity, look for a reversal or some type of energy in the opposite direction. And I was sitting down looking at this on another one of my screens because I didn't want to move to the 1 minute while you guys were still looking at the 5. And I just said, what if this is our breaker? And then when this fair value gap was created, then I was looking for the long. And I said, let me just try and just get $400 or $500 or something close, just to end out my day trading. And so now I have avenged yesterday's loss. I'm back to where I was, back to break even for the week, and not looking to do anything else serious today, but looking forward to tomorrow. $17,700. Okay. Yep. Let's do it. Solid. That's more than solid. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I would say if you know you're going to pass and you're winning trades every single day, like you're a really solid trader and you're not concerned with that, then you could probably do Apex with no problem, in that unrealized gains wouldn't really be an issue for you because you're packing in win consistently. But if you're not packing in wins consistently, then that could become an issue. And so in that case, I wouldn't recommend Apex. But if you're winning trades all the time, um, I would say probably make sure that you have a couple accounts with each firm, just to make sure that you're diversifying yourself. And I mean, because at some point in time, I mean, this is really your business. This is who you are. And so you want to make sure that your business is being protected just in case one company goes under or gets investigated. I mean, you never know what can happen. Um, but yeah, if you're consistently winning, I wouldn't worry about it. Apex does give you that option of having 20 accounts that you can trade, which is unheard of and unreal. So there are advantages on both sides. But I would say if you've never passed a challenge before and you are a consistent trader, but you still have hiccups from time to time, then I would stay away from the unrealized gains unless you have very specific trade type targets where it's I take a 1-to-1 or I do a 20-point trade every time or what, those kind of things. So you don't run into the issues with the unrealized gains. Crypto. Yep. I am definitely using OBS. Yep. It's free. From what I understand, yes, you can use Apex with TradingView as well. The same way through Tradovate. All right, everyone, we are almost 2 hours in. We got about an hour left. Power hours coming up in 10 minutes. Let me go ahead and mark off this macro period just so we all know where it is. We're in the middle or just outside of a 15-minute bearish fair value gap. So let's keep that in mind as we're looking at price potentially moving higher. And on top of that, we're also at the 8:30 open, which is in the middle of all of that too, which could and is so far rejecting price. Yeah, putting it on different platforms or streams. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, you can do that. And then it records everything, and you can just go back whenever you like and check on your videos and look back through price action or look back through some decisions that you made. You can even through YouTube make highlight videos so you can go back and capture the trades that you made during your session. Or once you're done, you can go in and put a different name in so you can make it easier to find if you're looking for a very specific event that happened during your session. You're doing your session. You can just change the name so it make it easier to locate. So there's a lot of things you can do, and using YouTube as kind of your library is an excellent idea. For me, like I said, using the stream as a way for me to talk myself through the trade and continue to further my learning and make it almost second nature. I felt like that sped the process up versus me just trying to do it on my own. It was taking longer. Not to mention having such skilled traders in here crushing the market every day. That's also helping quite a bit. Equal high is 720. Oops, let me get off. Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is what I did. Great, let's look and see if we get a failure in this area here or a push down. Wait a minute. Look at that, exactly 50%. Retracement back in the premium, and then a price failure. Yep, you're right. It did. It gave just enough, and it was enough for me to get in, get out, combine my two trades together, and say, all right, that's enough. I mean, I didn't break the bank, but it's enough. Yeah, it did. It did. So it was, the entry was here at the fair value gap, with the stop loss being here. And it was only a 1 to 2 trade, so it was here. In fact, I didn't even hold it all the way here. I canceled it around here somewhere. So I got like a, see, like a 1.3-ish, something like that. So this ended up being my trade. I just was looking for something small. Yep, power hour it is. We're here. That we know now when it ends. Yeah. Oh, wait, maybe get in here. Because you and Ray were talking about whenever you have a higher time frame, PDRA or something happening, then you look on a lower time frame to see if you get a reversal or some type of entry model. And so it, at the time that you were talking about it, we were here and we swept lows on the 4 hour. I think that's where we were. Let me see. This low 638, and this low is, yep, 633. So we swept the lows on the 4 hour. And I heard somebody say, yeah, man, if I get a long entry, I'm going in. And then I just said, well, let me just look and see if there's a breaker. And so I did. And I said, okay, well, this is probably the breaker. And then over here, it made the fair value gap. And I said, oh, okay, the unicorn. Here we go. We're in. And so I got in here. Nice. Congrats, Bob. You're doing really well. Yep. So I was just trying to apply what I'm learning, and it worked out for this trade. And the midpoint of this breaker is also about the midpoint of the fair value gap. So it was just a lot of things that worked. But again, it's not in my time frame, so I was a little nervous. I said, "Oh man, it's not in the macro period that I'm looking for," and so that's why I wasn't looking for a long trade or any big setup. But there was definitely some money to be made. And I noticed that all day long, there's always 20-point moves a couple times per hour. And I generally don't chase those or don't even attempt to get them. But that was why I entered that trade. All right, everyone, we are into our final hour. If you are enjoying the feed here, please hit the like button. Let's see if we can't get more likes than 32. I think we're better than that. There's something else or more that you want to see so that you would be happy with the session, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Make some suggestions. As long as you don't ask me to tell you when to get in a trade, I'm open to anything. Okay. 20 to 50 ticks. I see. Great. So we delivered a second time already. 1 to 2 trade for another 22, another 25 points for anyone who took the second entry the second time. All right, let's get rid of this. We don't need it. Even if you took the breaker. The stop loss just a couple ticks below. You know, even if you took the breaker with stop loss at the breaker, we'll go there. All right, so TP would be 1 to 2. TP would be above this swing high, right at the breaker above. I'm still not out of the macro period, so I'm still down on the 1 minute. Once we get out of the macro, I'll move it back up to the 5 minute. Yep. Yeah, crypto. So you had these equal lows swept here. And then the very next candle gave you a fair value gap. We just haven't had a retrace back in to buy out of it. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty, alrighty. 2 minute. Okay, let's go into the 2 minute and see what you're seeing. Because of not being able to enter. Okay. What do you mean by not being able to enter? Good job, crypto. Way to stay out of the game. It's not worth it. Protect your capital, continue to learn, continue to forward test, but protect your capital. Okay, so we closed out the macro period. We're now 10 after, so we're done there. But yeah, from down here, this breaker delivered twice. We had one run up here, retracement back down into the breaker, second run up, or both a little over 25 points. So you would have gotten for one mini contract, you would have gotten $500 out of that if you were able to close your trade at the top. Yep. Oh, okay. Got it. All right. So, big bro, this is what I would do if I were you. I would study the moves that you missed today. So you can do this every day, right? Even if you miss moves, but you like them, you say, "Oh, I wish I would have saw that," or "I was hesitant and I didn't do it, but it worked out for me." What you want to do is at the end of the day, go back through price action for the full day and look at those entries. Look at how price action was before. Look at which clues you may have missed that would have put you in that trade, and continue to do that every day. And before you know it, you'll start recognizing all of those clues that you see after the fact. But if you don't go back and do that, you're going to miss it again next time because you're just not familiar enough with what you see to be confident to take the trade. So the more you practice, and this is after hours, so this is when price action is in the Asia session and no one's trading, and you see gaps in between each candle. So definitely not a lot of volume. Spend that time looking at the day's trades, mark them up as if price hasn't happened yet, and just start to familiarize yourself with exactly what you see. And then you'll start noticing when you're looking at it in the morning, you'll have better indicators as to when you want to enter a trade. And you also start picking out fake outs too. So you'll see your setup that doesn't work out and you say, okay, well, why didn't this work? And then you can start looking and finding clues as to why it didn't work. And that'll give you more confidence to take the trade during the day. But if you had a good trade in gold, you know, don't be too hard on yourself because you can't monitor every market at the same time. And that's also a good idea from DB, right? You don't have to master every single chart, right? If you have something that you really like, master one thing at once. You rarely see me move off of Nasdaq. I use some other charts to inform me what Nasdaq may do next, but you don't see me trading other charts. And so don't feel bad if you made a good trade in gold. Maybe next time you just leverage up and you go in with one additional contract. So that's what I've been working on a lot is change and maybe I don't understand the full definition of change in state of delivery. But that's what I've been trying to recognize in taking these trades with breaker blocks. Let's see. But I guess change in state of delivery. Are you really referring to reversals? Okay. Yeah. Be patient with yourself and just stick with it. Stick with it. Most of us have been doing this for years now. Um, one or two at the minimum, and four, five, six, and some over 10 as a maximum. So just stick with it. You'll keep getting better. Keep checking in with us. Ask questions if you have them, and you'll get there. Yep. Yeah. T trades and what's the other guy? Uh, Stoic TA. Yeah, those two have really good videos on that market structure. Great. So now we have failures from all of these, but they delivered 25 points, which was good. Let's delete. There's your low being swept. Let's see how far down it'll dig. Remember, we also had the London low marked up as an area we hadn't touched yet. And the same below Asia low way down here. So another 80 points down to the Asia low. Absolutely. But yeah, crypto. I will say that market structure is what changed my trading by being able to see the change or like real time and every time and knowing where the change would happen before time. Um, it allows me to not get lost in price anymore. Because it used to happen where price everything's bullish, and then I get ready to make an entry, and I'm waiting for something to happen, and in the process of waiting for that retracement, now everything turned bearish, and now it's upside down on my trade. And it was because I was getting lost in price action or in market structure. Yep. Okay, D Anderson. Yeah, don't worry about it, and especially if you're stressed or something like that. Sometimes it's a good idea to just bypass the market that day. There's always more trades on the following day, and yeah, don't feel like you need to trade when you're not mentally sharp. Kind of wish I wouldn't have broken my rules yesterday and taken those two trades that I didn't have to make up for today. Oh, thanks everyone for hitting the likes. Sorry about that. I didn't acknowledge it, but I see that you did that. I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what's good about those videos in market structure is to review it once, gain your understanding, go back to the market, start practicing, and then come back and watch it 2 or 3 weeks later and start applying what you learned through your practice, and then see if there was anything that you should have picked up the previous time you watched the video that you missed. Um, that I find that helps me quite a bit to like go away from it for a few weeks, try to apply what I have, and then come back. 15-minute bearish fair value gap. Oh, yep. I see exactly what you're talking about right here. This is on the 1 minute, but if we go to, I'll go to the 15. Yep. Consequent encroachment and this guy right here. 8:30 open. So over here, 8:30 gave you support for that final leg. And then on this side, they gave you the rejection for the push down to closing bell. Yeah, Deanne, I remember you talking about how great you did yesterday. So yeah, let's just keep that up. And yeah, if anything's off about your day or whatever, just step away from the charts and come back later. Just deliver to your TP. Wow. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. And the more times that happen, the more you'll start believing in your setups. So it's okay when it happens. By getting out, that meant that if it turned around on you, you didn't lose anything. So you protected yourself. And now you have confirmation you were right. So you learned your lesson. You didn't lose any money. So still a win to me, even though you're unhappy with the result. Yep. Yep, exactly. And that's also why I was looking for a short one. And if you notice my style of trading, I'm usually taking 20, 25 point trades. And so, yes, you're right. On the 1 minute, you do need to be flexible and you need to be able to jump out quickly. So don't look for a long runner or some session highs or lows, because it's probably not going to happen. It's more of a, yeah, I would say on the 1 minute, you're more on internal range liquidity as opposed to moving to external range. Yep, no problem, Zach. You'll get them next time. Doji for the day. Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't realize that. London low. There we go. Hey, let's pull you off the charts then. And this is what I really was expecting between 315 and 345. If you haven't returned to the midnight open, This is usually what happens at the end of the day is you get a push towards, you don't always reach it because sometimes you start up here. So getting to the midnight open is difficult in this 30 minutes, but that's when you'll see the pullback here and maybe settle sometimes in this position. But since we were already at 315, we were already down in this lower position on the full leg, or actually on the retracement leg from here. We're actually pushing towards midnight, the midnight open. Okay, I trade Nasdaq and SP index on my FX browser. Does it matter if I trade futures and not directly in the index? Tradovate. No, big bro, it does not matter. You can still trade from other places. Just remember your values. So when you're looking over here on the right side and you're looking at what numbers I may have marked up, they may be different than what you have because you're trading CFDs. So just keep that in mind. You're just going to be looking more for market structure the same way. So get on the same time frame, look for the same candle, and then whatever this gap is will be your fair value gap. And it might be slightly different than what I have on my chart, but you trade it the same way because they're all running on very similar, or if not the exact same algorithm, just with different instructions. So yeah, keep trading it the way you are, and you can trade US 500, US 100, US 30. Regular trading hours. Okay, so we're finally back in that range now. Yep. Opening bell traded down into some of it, and then it just bought out. And now we're back to the same range the opening bell covered, and there was a fair value gap below, which we're now trading into. Thanks, Ray, for reminding us that we have this electronic trading hour and regular trading hour, and we need to make sure that we check them both because that retracement back into regular trading hours generally happens every day. A lot of times it happens early in the morning, but we can see here it was open, with the exception of this early piece that was taken at the opening bell. It was pretty much open all day, so trading back into it now makes a lot of sense. And as I mentioned, price also likes to push towards the midnight open. So and Asia low at 17,552. Let's see if we get there. Oh, so it's 250 to 310, 315 to 345, and 350 to 410. And that's for Dr. J. One hour and 4 hour fair value gap. Yes, yes, it is. This 4 hour candle is fierce. Price has managed to sell for If we continue below the midnight open, it'll be right around 200 points just for this session since we've been on. It's dropped 200 points. I mean, we're not there yet. We still have another 35 to 40 points to go, but we're almost there. Yeah. Still pushing lower. All right, let me put these back up. Seven. Oh, no problem. Yes, Ray, you did sell early. You left money on the table. 17,505. 1, 2, 3. And then on the 1 hour. Ooh, yes, you were right. You're absolutely right about that crypto. There are plenty of on a higher time frame, all of these fair value gaps that when price taps in, it'll give you a little bounce, which is what could easily be a 15, 20 point trade for those who like to scalp or to take short entries. Mm-hmm. 2 standard deviations on the 5-minute and just above the equal lows of the range. Fauci, it does take a lot of practice. It does. But once you learn the rules and you're able to apply it when you practice, it won't take you but a few weeks to really understand the concept to where you can take the trades. And then just over time, you'll get better at it. Right, 647 should hold. Let's get rid of these. And we can also clean up a bit. Let's see if the Asia low is part of the 350. The 350 last moments of the session where it makes a big push like we saw yesterday. Let's see if we get a push down to the Asia low. And if 350 rips it back up, I'm canceling the session tomorrow. I'm going to be so upset. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to cancel the session. Yep. You know, I had somebody ask me recently. They said, if you knew what it would take to be successful at trading in the beginning, because I've never met anyone who thought it would take as long as it took for them to be good at trading. But I had someone ask me that if you knew now, if someone told you when you first started, hey, it's going to take you 10,000 hours, it's going to take you 3 years to get to the point to where you feel confident taking trades and you are consistently winning trades. If you knew that up front, would you still have gone through the process? And without a doubt, I could say yes. The question is, I wonder if everyone can say the same. Right. So anyone else who've put in that amount of work, do you feel like it was worth it? Trap for the week. That's right. Yep. Double sweep. This is true. This is absolutely true. You're right. I mean, we did take out lows, particularly these triple lows here. We traded into a fair value gap down here. This is the 15-minute chart. We now have an engulfing candle. We traded towards the midnight open, which is all it needs to do. It doesn't actually have to touch the midnight open. Exactly. Oh, relaxation, 8 years. See, that's what I'm talking about. Dedication, never gave up. Maybe you took a few breaks in the middle, but you came back and you're doing much better now. Absolutely. It's a skill you take with you forever. All right. Dope rec. Indicators. Not a lot, but I do have a new week opening gap, new day opening gap. So that really hasn't been in play today. It's the first time in a long time we haven't been talking about it. We have the midnight and 8:30 open. So I get those placed on the chart every day. I have session high and low, but this indicator is a paid indicator, so you'll have to find another one that does the same. But I make sure I can see the session highs and lows. And I have a fair value gap indicator called FVG and FUSAM. And so I don't have to draw every single fair value gap, especially when you're bouncing back and forth between time frames. This one will adjust it for you on every time frame. So that's pretty much what I use. I draw breakers on my own, just squares. And yeah, I mark out these lines on my own. So this is just a ray. So this is what I have on my toolbar. I use the array mostly just for these kind of markings. This is rectangle is what I'm using for breaker blocks or volume imbalances or any of that. I have a Fibonacci and I have a long and short tool. These in the middle, I don't even use these anymore. So I could probably take them off and delete them. And that's about it. Yep, I am that Mohican. Yes, family time can be short, and you do want to make sure that you're not neglecting the people that are important to you. Try to work out something where they are also giving you time to be the best version of you, because once you learn this skill, I mean, you're going to be a much happier, much better person. So it's good if you can work those two things out together, but I completely agree. Yep. So dope rec. So like I said, that is a paid indicator, so you won't be able to use that one, but try this one. Some other people in the group have mentioned that you can use this indicator that will allow you to do whatever you want and kind of build it into what you want it to do. And it can do multiple things with just one indicator. And session highs and lows is one of the things you can program. So try this one. I haven't used it, but it has been recommended to me. Relaxation, I'm right there with you. Same. How do we feel about the 1 minute here? Let's see. What is the 1 minute showing? Okay, let's drop this. Yep, we should be looking bullish for sure. All right, we're coming. We're getting close. We got about 5 or 6 minutes. 6 minutes left, and then we'll be in the 350 macro, and we'll see what kind of fireworks it gives us today. Yesterday was fun. But let's see what we get today. From what I understand, that's on TradingView. I'm not sure if it's on Tradovate, but you should be able to trade Tradovate on TradingView. $6.51. Okay, that's a good entry. Not bad. No, but but somebody mentioned it on it, so that's why I wrote it down. Let me see if I can find it. DIY custom strategy builder, so not strategy. Exactly, Ray. That's all we asked for. I just want it to move somewhere. Up, down, doesn't matter. Just don't give me the kind of price action we got yesterday, where you just get a lot of sideways movement or you get back and forth. I know this is a low time frame, but when I look at price action, I want to see multiple candles that's the same color. If every other candle is a different color, that's not really what I'm looking for. Okay, let me. So here we go. So I'm showing DIY custom strategy builder. It's under community scripts, I guess. So yeah, so just hopefully you can find that. 1 minute fair value gap entry into 350. I mean, probably 650, but okay. Yeah, I think that's the same one that crypto was looking at. If I'm not mistaken. Yep, 651. Oh, 350 algo. Okay. Sorry about that. Right, another 90 seconds. Boom, there we go. All right, I'm going to shift this over one just so we can see this candle's wick, see the exact movement. Check on our friends on the other side. All right, still pushing lower. All right, making, yes, S&P and Dow are pushing really low, pushing hard too. Let's see, the Dow is trying to take out the low of yesterday. Dollar's pushing higher as well. So oh yes, crypto queen, yes, 315 to 345 and 350 to 410. Yes. Five to 600 ticks. All right, let me slide this over to 410 so we can see when the session ends. All right, trade it back into the breaker. Can we get above is the question. Any rejection off of the bearish fair value gap? All right, here we go. There we go. All right, below we still have the midnight open at 594 and Asia at 552. Watch out for this guy. Yep, if we sweep lows and then get back up here, yeah, watch out. It's coming. Mm-mm. Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it to the 1 minute off of the 2 minute just so we get a few more candles. Uh-oh. Sweep of a low. Bullish fair value gap. Let's see. Win rate. DJ, keep that 100% win rate. That's going to be important for your future. Hang on to that. Oh man. Dr. J, what's the 300,000 account? What's the goal to reach to pass? Trackologist. All right, what you want to do is switch over to your demo account and then do YOLO as much as you want. Oh, 20K. Okay, got it. Wow. But 14 in 1 day. You're well on your way. All right, I'm going to stick around and see what happens at 4 o'clock because sometimes at 4:01, 4:02, you also get a big spike in price. So I want to wait and see what happens. We're getting close to the end. Everyone, throw in your final questions, please. Hit the like button if you haven't. And if you're brand new or you have yet to subscribe, make sure you do that as well. Yep. I can't tell you how many times I broke my discipline just because, right? With no really good reason other than I had a feeling that something good was going to happen. And so it's just, yeah, it's not worth it having a blemish on your record. Just, trying to swing for the fences at the end of the day. Uh-oh, 5 seconds. Uh-oh, here we go. 4 o'clock. Oh, okay. I am the Mohican. Hey, that's great, man. Stick with it. All right, Dr. J, good luck. I hope you reach your goal. You only have about 4,000 remaining for 2 more days of trading. Tomorrow is going to be a volatile day, so hopefully you can get it. Oh, okay. James Rich Young. Mm. Yep, Dr. J. That's one of the things I've heard from people who have been doing this for a long time is that they were a bit more aggressive during the evaluation period, and then once they became funded, they scaled back quite a bit, and they just let their equity, as they built more and had several accounts together, they let that do most of the heavy lifting and producing most of the profits while they just took small trades. Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like during the morning and afternoon session. But yes, you're right. I have noticed the afternoon session is not as congested with other traders hosting their own channels. So this is good. I noticed the last couple of days ICT is live streaming in the morning, which is pulled a few of my viewers away, but it's okay. I mean, ICT was my mentor, so I can understand why they want to watch him. All right, Young, take care. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. Days. Think it's okay. Awesome. I'll check this guy out then. Oh wow, up 11K after 3 withdrawal. That's amazing. Amazing. I am that Mohican. All right, 7,500 drawdown. It's not bad. All right, I think price is pretty much settled. If something crazy happens here, it's definitely not anything that we could have predicted. Usually, if there's going to be a spike of some kind, it would have happened by now. So I'm going to shut down the stream now, and again say thank you all for joining, for being a willing participant, for jumping in the chat and keeping us all entertained. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow morning, 9:15 for anyone who's in the AM session, 1300 for the PM session. Cheers, everyone. Take care.